reputation of your national team when you're taking on the 5-time champions, and when you're doing it in the Big Apple, there is no such thing as a meaningless game. It's the United States and Brazil here from East Rutherford, New Jersey. Hello, everyone, and welcome alongside Stuart Holland, soon to be joined by both Alex Curry and Rodolfo Landeros. I'm John Strong. Simply put, Stu, what is at stake for the Americans tonight?
I think with all these friendlies that we've seen post-World Cup qualification disaster that we don't need to go back into right in a second, it's always opportunity, a chance to impress. And everybody's sitting at home right now, everybody in these stands that has a United States shirt on, they want something that they can cheer for, that they can get excited about. And for every player that wears that jersey, every training session, seeing the progression of this group, going back to that game against Bolivia that we were in Philadelphia, and Dave Sarakin said to us, there was no personality in this group. We had players that were scared. Well, now, fast forward to yesterday when we talked to him after training, he said, this group has personality, this group has character, so you can feel it growing, and the performances are starting to match that on the field. That draw against the France team that went on to win the World Cup was impressive. If you can do it against Brazil, the 5-time champion, that goes a little bit further to proving that you can do it at this level.
We were there in person in Kazan when Brazil went out to Belgium in the World Cup quarterfinal. 10 of the 11 who start tonight for Brazil were a part of that World Cup squad. What's the motivation for them in this game?
Again, to prove that they are one of the best teams in the world. I still think, and you were getting on me this during the World Cup, this Brazilian team could have easily won the World Cup. And they lost that game against Belgium in the quarterfinals, an incredible performance by that Belgian team. But Chichi said afterwards, Roberto Martinez came up to me, he said, on that night, we were perhaps a little lucky to win. He's called in a very strong team. The Brazilian media and everyone back home was expecting maybe a younger lineup. This team had 10 players in this lineup that were at the World Cup. Casemiro, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, all these players that once again want to prove a point. Neymar said it was the worst moment in his career losing in that World Cup, so you don't think he's coming in motivated tonight to prove that the Seleção are once again the best team in the world?
What's going through the mind of those U.S. players? So many of them are so young, and as you said, you're staring across at some of the biggest names in the sport globally.
It can be intimidating. It was also something we asked Dave Sarakin about, and he said, well, the environment in France before they went off to the World Cup, playing there in France and feeling that energy, it's going to be a different energy tonight. But he also said, we haven't done too much work on Brazil because every single player is familiar with these Brazilian players. They watch them on TV, they watch them in the Champions League, and what an opportunity to prove yourself, to say, how good am I compared to Casemiro? How good am I compared to Neymar? Well, you have an excellent opportunity tonight. Great
shot there. 25-year-old Will Trapp, native of Columbus, Ohio, just his 7th international appearance, but he captains his country. His counterpart is Neymar. The opponent is Brazil, and they're being welcomed out right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem of Brazil. Please remain standing and welcome the United States Army and U.S. soccer donors and partners to the field, presenting tonight's American flag. Singing tonight's Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome singer-songwriter Mark Shaker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, not lost on anybody where we are, what the anniversary is of on Tuesday, and the players visited the 9/11 memorials and first responders the other day. They now get set for their 19th all-time meeting against Brazil, dating back to August of 1930. Only once has the United States beaten Brazil. That was in 1998 in the LA Coliseum. Can Dave Sarachan engineer win number 2? He's live down on the field with Alex.
Coach, Brazil basically brought their World Cup team here tonight. So what's it going to take from this U.S. team to beat Brazil this evening?
Well, we got to bring our best. We got to win our individual duels for sure. And as a collective group on both sides of the ball, do an excellent job. And I think it'll be a good night of soccer.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Stu, in your mind, who is going to be key for the U.S. to accomplish that?
The midfield. I'm looking at the mid. Zach Steffen as well. We talked to him yesterday. He said, I expect to be a busy man tomorrow night.
Might have some action.
He will be a busy man. Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Will Trapp. This could be the midfield of this team going forward. Will Trapp, the captain again tonight, a real leader out there. Pretty surreal for him, I'm sure, staring across the way at Neymar. But they have to be proactive. They have to press high and try and stop that possession-based style from Brazil.
And for more on Brazil and their storylines, Rodolfo Landeros is on the field. Rodolfo.
Yeah, Chichi is the second only coach in the whole of Brazil's team's history to remain at the helm of the national squad after the World Cup without winning the world title after 40 years. I asked Marcelo back in Russia after they got knocked out against Belgium about his continuity with the team. Marcelo said he's the best man for the job. I hope he continues. So he will get called after this series of 6 games for the Copa America in the next year.
Yeah, Copa America in Brazil next June. It's an interesting thing that Brazil goes out in the quarterfinal and no one really blinks about Chichi continuing on in his job. It was just his second loss in 2 years in charge. He took over 2 years ago this month. Neymar now the permanent captain after a rotating captaincy ahead of the World Cup. And the man who was Rodolfo told us earlier made his debut and scored his first Brazil goal on this field 8 years ago. Fernando Guerrero is the man in charge tonight, 36 years old, native of Mexico. He was the referee of the game against Panama last year in Nashville at the Gold Cup. He was also the 4th official that night last year in Trinidad. Just in case we can't get away from the ghosts of that soon enough. And it is, in the words of Matt Miazga, who's in there wearing the number 3, about climbing the ladder for the United States right now. Climbing the ladder back up from what happened in Trinidad, climbing the ladder certainly towards the Gold Cup. next summer here on FS1 in the United States, but also in a little over 4 years' time, the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And there are a few ways better to make a statement and to go up a big rung in that ladder than against Brazil. So on a muggy night, but much cooler than it had been the last week and a half here in the New York area. A special opportunity for these young players. And in front of a very pro-Brazil atmosphere underway. With the United States in red, white, and blue. Brazil in the iconic yellow. The U.S. beginning with their call in the kickoff series. 6 games the rest of this year, all against teams in FIFA's top 25. They, for the second time in their history, are playing against 4 teams this year who are former World Cup winners, and more so than the 5-time champions Brazil. And we focused in Russia on the failures of Germany and of Messi and Ronaldo. On the successes of France and Croatia, it was a somewhat more quiet departure in the quarterfinal for Brazil. But the 3rd World Cup in the last 4, they went out in that round, trying to build up towards a pressure-packed tournament on their home soil next year. Friendly though it may be, it is not going to be kind in the media tomorrow if they don't not just beat the U.S., but do so comfortably and artistically. Stu, how are you expecting us to look tonight?
Well, all indications from the U.S. camp were that they were going to try and press, especially early in this game. And I'm interested how long they can maintain that, especially the way that Brazil keep the ball. And they've done that already in the early moments in this game. They're playing it right now inside their own 18-yard box. And just look at the rotations in midfield. Will Trapp stepping in right there. Tyler Adams pushing higher up the field. So when they do have to defend, how do they do it? On the flanks, there's so much speed on both sides. Douglas Costa against Anthony Robinson. DeAndre Yedlin against Neymar. Some fascinating battles.
An important interception there by DeAndre Yedlin. The senior man of this team, over 50 appearances now. And these are the dangerous moments Dave Sarakin talked about, Will Trapp talked about. Here's Neymar running it. New Jersey native Matt Miazga able to slow him up. And Stefan able to react to keep that ball from being a corner.
It's just an area there, John. That's when they have possession. When Will Trapp gives it away in the midfield there, and Brazil go instantly the other way. Coutinho, first pass, outlet to Neymar, who always hangs out on the left. And Matt Miazga, this is excellent defending from him. He doesn't dive in, he times his tackle perfectly. Just waits, dangles out the leg, and knocks it into Stefan's hands.
It was a really enjoyable chat with Miazga yesterday. When he was a 20-year-old 3 years ago, taking off from the New York Red Bulls after really just 1 full season as a professional, joining up with Chelsea. There are a lot of people who really questioned that move, thought it was a bit rash, thought he wasn't quite ready for it, as Douglas Costa weaves his way through. And he was very honest with us yesterday, Matt Miazga, about how much he has matured as a person in the last 3 years, how much he has matured as a player, making his way up 2 seasons in the Netherlands, now playing for Nantes in France. And it was surprising, because you think about all these Chelsea players on loan, and he's just one name on a long list, how much he said the Chelsea managers are constantly speaking with him. There's an app on the phone that has video clips from every match. They're checked in with in person every other month. He said, I feel very much like a Chelsea player, and there's a pathway for me to the first team. And the U.S. has benefited from that as well, as Anthony Robinson is able to prevent that from being a corner. Second ball on the field as they wanted to go quick.
Good shape to the U.S. right now defensively. Bobby Wood is the lone striker. He's shuffling across that midfield 3 that we've talked about. They're closing the gaps right now. The U.S. really stepping up. They're not sitting back too deep, so playing a high line, which leaves some space over the top. And it's going to be interesting to watch on this field, which is grass laid over the top of the turf. We were watching in training yesterday. When some of those long balls go over the top, instead of running to Zach Steffen in goal, they're going to sit and just hold up. Something Brazil have looked out for a lot already, that long diagonal pass.
Yedlin to Ariola, Wood laying back for Weston McKennie, and now Julian Green getting the start tonight. And from Anthony Robinson. A little bit of a wild card. Dave Sarakin saying he's just got soccer in him. He's come in fit. We wanted to get him on the field and see what he can show. He scored the goal for the U.S., the draw with France, their send-off game. It's the eventual world champions, which was referenced a lot yesterday in conversation with Dave Sarakin and the players. That's sort of the mile marker for what they can accomplish tonight, they feel like. Ariola got there just in front of Casemiro. Adams working hard to keep it. Adams again, another local area native, and a foul as Bobby Wood steps in on Felipe Luis.
Yeah, Bobby Wood just catches him from behind here. Just slight touch. He's trying to wrap his leg around. That was good one-touch stuff there from the U.S. In from Miazga, Tyler Adams, Will Trapp, moving the ball quickly. That's how you're going to have some space against this Brazilian team.
On the ball, you mentioned Stu is a natural defensive midfielder, did play parts of 3 seasons at right back for Monaco, and that was a conversation Chichi had with him before this camp. Faulkner, who stepped in really as the third choice right back because of injuries, suffered an injury last week, and so he's out from this camp. Another free kick for Brazil upcoming. John Brooks playing just his 2nd game for the U.S. since June of last year. Another what might have been all those qualifiers in the fall that he missed because of injury. Really barely played last season because of injury at Wolfsburg. So he will play only this game, and they'll return him to his club before the Mexico game Tuesday. Luis looking long. Coutinho making the run. Miazga the defender. Little Firmino in the middle. Coutinho driving inside. It was Adams who got a foot on that. Felipe Luis holds it in for Casemiro. He was close to had it knocked away by Anthony Robinson. Rodolfo Landeros, what are you hearing from the Brazil bench right now?
Yeah, Chichi has very analytical stuff on Anthony Robinson moving forward for the U.S. men's national team, and he just instructed Douglas Costa, if you see a window of opportunity, just go for it, just take a shot.
Coutinho nutmegging Yedlin, and some support from Paul Ariola to come in and stand up for his teammate there, and a little bit of a warning for Yedlin as well. From Fernando Guerrero, the referee.
That one brought the crowd to their feet, didn't it, from Coutinho? Andrew Yedlin already was tracking him back just a little bit earlier and then just moves it past him. Ariola comes in and makes sure he got a little piece of him as well.
That's been given as a free kick. Ariola, who was telling you yesterday to cool it on the right back stuff. Good performance over the weekend for DC United. More advanced position tonight. Neymar and Fred, who just made the move this summer to Manchester United, are standing over this. Everyone back for the U.S. And Neymar to play it in. Robinson mishit it. Brooks a stab at it, and Yedlin a clearance.
A little bit of a shaky start for Anthony Robinson so far on this left side, and now he's actually filling in over on the right, just the way the U.S. pushed out. But DeAndre Yedlin's now as a left back. Just a little cleaner on your touches, find your way into the game. You're only 9 minutes in here. He's a player that Dave Sarakin has a lot of potential, but still needs to find a rhythm, integrate himself into this group. Is now going on loan to Wigan, and looks like we're going to get an early sub potentially.
Just switching back there, I think they stayed on their sides off the back of that set piece. But Robertson's an interesting player because you see 21 years old, 3rd appearance, born and raised in England. His father was a naturalized U.S. citizen, went to college in the U.S. And it was interesting hearing from a couple different of his teammates yesterday, really praising how deeply he cares about playing for the U.S., about his team doing well, the work he's putting in. I think there was an issue with the ball in there as well.
Some of the ball, that's what I meant, John.
Yeah. And we've seen the time, listen, the outside back position has sort of bedeviled the U.S. for a number of years now.
Especially,
left back,
right?
Yeah.
I think he's got a massive opportunity. I still think he has some growing to do, but I, for one, was certainly very impressed with that game he had against Bolivia, back in Philadelphia, and now he's getting regular games, playing at one of the best clubs in the world, Bolton Wanderers last year, of course. Now
says the former Bolton
at
player.
The rival Wigan. But look, John, these are the opportunities. He's playing against Douglas Costa, a guy who plays at Juventus, has played at Bayern Munich, and this is where you measure yourself. This is where you find out how good you really are.
Douglas Costa, as we heard from Rodolfo, who's been specifically instructed to go at the young man. Coutinho able to keep it from Trapp. Fred out of the way from Trapp for Firmino. A little turn in a little pocket of space. Fred, Neymar was drifting offside, it looked like. Miazga picked it up. Another area Dave Sarakin mentioned was really important. When they get the ball, they've got to be able to keep it, string some passes together. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by AT&T. The tricks and flicks from Neymar. Across to Douglas Costa. Trying to get away from Robinson, who's looking to catch up now. Firmino making the run in the middle. The cross meant for him is the opening goal for Brazil.
Well, John, we've just been talking about Anthony Robinson in this left back position. And here's where he shows his inexperience. Right now, watch while he comes this. This is a good pass. It skips out the right back Fabinho. Gets it straight into Douglas Costa. He gets too tight, doesn't get his feet set. Douglas Costa, with his speed, just burns him. And at the back post, what a ball that is, with his right foot as well. To pick out Firmino, who's running off the shoulder of Matt Miazga. And there it is, 1-0. One mistake, you get punished at this level. And Robinson's a quick guy, but I tell you what, so is Douglas Costa. He just turned on the Jets, left him for dead. Nothing Zach Steffen could do there, and it's 1-0 Brazil.
8th international goal for Liverpool's Roberto Firmino was a substitute of the World Cup behind Gabriel Jesus. This is just his first start in his last 10 appearances. And the first thing after that goal was Dave Sarakin and Anthony Robinson having a 1v1 chat on the near sideline. As Julian Green wins a free kick.
Well, you heard it from Rodolfo Landeros down there. Chichi was specifically isolating and talking about Douglas Costa's opportunity against Anthony Robinson. Well, I'd say he took that one pretty well. How do you recover from that now, Anthony Robinson?
It's Julian Green who stands over the free kick that he won. It's everyone back for Brazil. We're looking to hook it in too far for Wood. Easy first touch of the night for Alisson.
I'll give you one more look at it. Right now, he's just off down that right side. Firmino, such a clever run. Matt Miazga recognizes that Brooks is further out there. He comes across towards the near post. It was too late. The ball beat him. That teasing ball that if you put the slightest touch, it can end up in the back of your net. And Firmino just thrives on that. 8th international goal.
As you rightly said, that's part of the learning process for this young U.S. team. And you go on from here because you know Brazil is going to be looking to add on and do it in style. Felipe Luis for Firmino looking to go out for Coutinho. Miazga's there first. .79% possession in the early moments for Brazil. Neymar getting away from Ariola. Adams there to meet him and force him back out. Position there from Ariola, right on top of him. Yedlin for Tyler Adams. He has have some sort of a spell of possession here, builds some sort of danger the other way. No, it's a little tangle of legs there between Arriola and Felipe Luis as Adams looked to return it. U.S. frustrated they didn't get a foul call out of that. Felipe Luis, who was second choice to Marcelo at the World Cup at the left back spot. Marcelo, one of really the small number of Brazil stars that aren't here. Mentioned 10 of this starting 11 were at the World Cup. 6 of these players were on the field at some point in the quarterfinal loss to Belgium. Here's Weston McKennie. Just got it caught in the spokes a bit there, and Fred was able to pick his pocket. The U.S. supporters here at MetLife Stadium, who are very, very much outnumbered, trying to make some noise. With Neymar running in front of it, looking to slip in behind. Miazga there to meet him.
Great tackle. Great tackle by Matt Miazga there, reading the play.
I have a lot of friends and family. Native of Clifton, New Jersey, just about 8 miles to the northwest of here. Able to find Weston McKennie. Back out it goes for Tyler Adams. Wood making his way in the middle. Adams driving inside. McKennie looking to return it. Felipe Luis got the foot in. McKennie aggressive in there, forcing an errant ball. The Yedlin was able to win back for the U.S. There's John Brooks. It's a deflected ball in. Green out jump by Fabinho.
Better spell from the U.S. And this all started Zach Steffen playing a ball to DeAndre Yedlin's feet, finding Will Trapp, and then passing between the lines, taking the Brazilian midfield out of it. It allows you then to have some possession. They have to drop off, and now you have the ball. This is good. Keep moving it side to side. Make them work a little bit, and just wait for your opportunity to get it wide.
Again, opening it up for DeAndre Yedlin. Arriola controlling himself, given the space here to get a cross in that he way overhits. It's been an issue for Paul Arriola that he spoke with us about last weekend. The U.S. coach is pressing him on needing more end product, goals and assists, and he had a good spell of those this summer with DC United. Disappointed with that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In those areas, when you have these rare opportunities against Brazil deep in their own end, you have to put a ball in that's going to give players in the box a chance. And that one, it looks almost like it just bobbled up a little bit as he goes to hit it, but that was encouraging from this U.S. team.
As you mentioned, there will be bobbles tonight. There will be odd bounces tonight. This natural.
It's not a great playing surface.
Grass laid over the artificial surface here.
Yeah, I was down there earlier as part of the pregame. You could just see some of the seams between, and it's never ideal when you put grass over turf. And this is a great venue. It's filled up with plenty of Brazilian fans here, but still, it doesn't really favor the product on the field.
Fred just got a touch to that. Robinson in a foot race with Douglas Costa that he had to win, and he did. Now Julian Green the other way. Now in the German second division. He will for at least 4 more years remain the last American to score a goal at a World Cup.
Bobby Wood can't get a touch right now. I think he's got 3 touches to this point. We're 19 minutes in, and it's one of those games where service is going to be hard to come by, and you have to make use of it when you get it.
Green in the turn and then gives it away to Casemiro. Robinson made a big run forward, and so good thing for him that Trapp wins it back. There's touches 4, 5, and 6 for Wood. Yedlin a little bit of space. Yedlin will play a better ball in than Arriola was able to. Fabinho heading away. Neymar tracking back. Boy, every time he's on the ball, you just hear the volume go up. got completely fooled there by Fred's turn inside. Neymar, an errant pass. Switch.
Oh, what a great pass
to Yedlin. Great catch as well by Yedlin to bring it down on Felipe Luis. Yedlin was trying to play for McKennie. Able to get a touch to it. McKennie's second attempt. Fabinho got a foot in. Yedlin throwing his body in on Felipe Luis. Referee was ready to whistle for a foul. It looked like letting play go as Brazil were able to play out of it. Luis Costa across to Coutinho, Neymar's firmest forward. We're talking some about Anthony Robinson in the U.S. bench. And Alex, what are you hearing down there?
Well, we saw Coach Robinson have that one-on-one conversation directly after the Brazil goal, and since then, Coach has been on the sideline yelling at Robinson to get closer and to slide. And yesterday, in the presser, we heard Coach say that the jury's still out on Robinson because he still has things to learn.
Certainly only his third international appearance as Yedlin commits that foul, and for a second time is going to get warned by the referee. He had that hard challenge on Neymar when he got nutmegged earlier.
As this one just comes in here to Neymar, a little bit of a, just takes his feet away underneath. Yedlin's frustrated, but that was something, was a constant theme throughout the World Cup, wasn't it, with Neymar and all those memes of him all over the ground and rolling. But, you know, he has a reputation of that at times, but I tell you what a fantastic player. And I felt as the tournament went on, he cut out some of that and focused more on the playing aspect. I think he's always going to have that as part of his game because he tries not to get injured and he gets a lot of kicks. But he looks like he's really up for it tonight, doesn't he, John?
Trying to set Areola on his way. Felipe Luis is there first. Dangerous ball back in the middle that Wood picks up. Trap. Able to send a cross in. Doesn't find Adams, though. Now the U.S. has got to get back. Neymar wanted out wide to the left. Yedlin was able to force Firmino to the right. And now the switch. Now all the way out there to meet him. Who had more shots, more chances created, and more fouls suffered than any player at the World Cup when Brazil went out in the quarterfinal round. Fun atmosphere in here midway through the first half for being very much less than full MetLife Stadium. The vast majority wearing Brazilian yellow, but you can hear from the American supporters that are here, and I guess that's part of the point for this U.S. men's team in the wake of missing the World Cup. We talk all the time about the battle for hearts and minds with Mexico, but Brazil, Argentina, the big club teams that play over here every summer, you got to win some fans back with results and performances, and Trapp won the ball and won a free kick. Certainly Dave Sarakin, it's his 7th game in charge. Number 8 will be Tuesday against Mexico. There's no guarantees the new coach will be in by October, so it might get to double digits. It's an awkward position we can all be honest about. He's doing his best to try to coach these players, teach them, lay the foundation. What do you think of not just what he's done, but how his role continues now into the fall?
Well, I've been very impressed by Dave Sarakin because, like you said, he was part of that coaching staff when U.S. men's national team did not qualify for the World Cup. He took over from Bruce Arena as an interim coach. He seems to be talking, even in our meetings with him yesterday, about, well, whoever takes over, even though he hasn't officially ruled himself out for the job. Look, I think what he has done to try and recreate a culture of winning and this youthful exuberance of what it means, again, to put on that shirt and represent your country, and also to win and do it and having fun and breeding some of these young personalities, allow them to express themselves. So as far as how that has gone and that transition has gone, I think he's done an excellent job. I hope that is remembered, whatever this program goes on to do. If it does continue without him, I hope that we keep him on in some shape or form.
Marquinhos looking for Neymar, able to bring it down. Miazga able to sweep it away.
Because he's not just part of U.S. soccer history, he's part of Major League Soccer. He's done a lot for the game in this country and just does it with a smile on his face and is really well respected.
Neymar on the turn, a little flick out wide now. Coutinho back for Felipe Luis. Dancing away from Ariola, now his cross in. Robinson there to meet it in front of Fred. McKennie beaten to it by Fabinho. Casemiro trying his luck.
Well, this one comes out, it eventually makes its way, comes in from Felipe Luis. You'll see it gets cleared all the way out to Fabinho. Anthony Robinson in a good position there. Lays it off for Casemiro. Scored a few screamers from here for Real Madrid. This one flies up and over, not even close.
We heard some in the pregame from Ernie Stewart. It took over about a month ago as the general manager of the men's national team. Certainly being pulled in a lot of different directions. Had a roundtable with media yesterday. And Saracen said, Ernie Stewart was not involved in the roster selection specifically, was certainly not involved in team selection, was very much just trying to be a fly on the wall of this camp. They've had conversations back and forth. You can tell that Stewart is in sort of listening tour mode, trying to have a lot of conversations right now. And there's a lot more that can really be delved into in a 2.5 minute interview, but I'm curious your reaction to what you heard from Ernie Stewart.
I think a lot of what we've heard from him over the past couple days and weeks, but I tell you, I've been very impressed by Ernie Stewart. I think he's the right man for that position. I think it's a position, and you heard him explain some of his immediate duties, but it's a position that's going to change. He's going to have more responsibility. I think at some point he'll have some involvement in some of the youth national teams, but for now, all the focus, and as it should be on this men's national team, getting a coach together, building this culture, bringing these players along.
Fred for Neymar. Brooks got a touch to slow him up. It's Firmino rather. Now it's Neymar trying to join up. Yedlin able to step in, and it's going to go the other way for a U.S. free kick. And a crucial touch from Brooks there, and it looked like the U.S. have been sliced up down the middle.
He's a man, John, that's also been on the job for only about a month. So integrating himself, taking his time. This is a process that, I think everybody, when are we having a coach? When's the coach going to be announced? But Ernie's a guy that wants to make sure he does his due diligence, gets that decision right, and it's a player, the man that's going to lead this team forward is one that he's fully confident in. Principles of play, as he called it, and I think it is an exciting time. We have some really good young players that are up and coming. I still think a couple veterans will play a part in this group, but certainly the only way is up at this point.
And a touch there from McKennie to give it away. Saracen did address that with us, so we met with him yesterday at the team hotel. Why haven't you worked yet in Josie Altidore, Michael Bradley, Brad Guzan, whoever else? Some of the veteran players. He said part of it is I'm still trying to develop a sense of leadership within this group. He mentioned to us in May how quiet the locker room was with so many young players. He said sometimes when you bring the big dogs in, it suppresses the personality of the younger, less experienced players, and he wanted this camp to still be about this young core. Sort of the suggestion being that the October games against Colombia and Peru, you might see some of those familiar names sprinkled back in. Luis in for Firmino, met instead by Miazga. Marquinhos looking long. The offside flag would have come up had it not gone straight into Zach Steffen.
It's a ball I'd like to see the United States play a little bit more in this game. Good pass there again from Will Trapp to find Weston McKennie.
Robinson trying to catch Douglas Costa upfield. Douglas Costa tracking back out of foot, and Robinson wins it back for Weston McKennie. Ariola wants the switch. He's going to get it now. Yedlin in support. Ariola foot in by Felipe Luis. Really all but 2 back for Brazil to defend that. That's going to stop them at all. Firmino. That's the game's only goal so far, back in the 11th minute on a cross from Douglas Costa. How do you feel about how the U.S. has played the 20 minutes since?
Well, they've picked in their moments to go and press, but most of the time they've actually been sat in this more of a medium block here, just behind midfield, keeping Brazil in front of them. But the times when Brazil have found those little gaps and the U.S. haven't closed down that space, they've been causing problems. Little slip passes, Neymar on the left, he's coming in, finding the ball. Other than the goal where, we've already covered that many times, but with Anthony Robinson getting caught, the defenders, the center backs getting beat by Firmino, it's been an okay start so far for this U.S. team 31 minutes in.
Continue a long switch for Douglas Costa. Here comes another chance for Robinson to defend him. Put the move on, Robinson stepping in, can't win the ball away. Douglas Costa playing into the middle, and Neymar couldn't get it under control. Unable to distribute to McKennie. Julian Green, numbers filtering forward. And Casemiro, who has only won the last 3 Champions League titles, with Real Madrid able to shut that off.
There's that long diagonal ball that we've seen many a time from Brazil. This is what they want, 1-against-1. Douglas Costa, a little nutmeg, and then the strength just throws Robinson. He's trying to find Neymar, who's right around the penalty spot. It doesn't come off. Look at the strength from him there. Low center of gravity, throws himself into Robinson. In an area I think the U.S. can be better, John, it's possession. When they have it, being a little bit more purposeful with it, playing at a quicker tempo. These long crossfield passes, when they come, then at that point, can you play 1 or 2 touch and try and open up this Brazilian defense?
Fabinho pressure there and giving it back to John Brooks. Brooks again looking long this time for Bobby Wood, able to bring it down. Hooked out by Fabinho. 4 goals in his last 6 games for the United States for Bobby Wood. Equaling his total from his prior 20 appearances. The only American to score multiple goals this year for the U.S. men. Ariola for Yedlin. Adams on the move to keep it. Trap. Out of the way from Felipe Luis. Yedlin looking to cross in. Behind McKennie. Off the thigh of Wood. Cleared away by Thiago Silva. That's going to be a corner for the U.S. Weston McKennie to knock in there.
1-2 touch. These are the passes you want. There's a 1-touch ball from McKennie. Tyler Adams drives, commits defenders. Will Trapp is able to get that one around Felipe Luis. And the shot from McKennie gets deflected and eventually gets put out for a corner kick.
Will Trapp, the captain, to take. Fans to their feet at MetLife Stadium. His outswinging ball. Brooks was up for it. It came off the side of his head. Adams again on the ball, this time on Fabinho. Able to keep it. Cut it in for Weston McKennie. Back out for Julian Green. Green's cross in. Miazga was up for it. And it's going to loop over the top. What's the decision? It'll be a corner for the U.S. Let's spell the night, though. 33 minutes in.
It is a lovely little cutback run, and the timing of the run from Weston McKennie in behind, slashing run, stand it up, go and get it. Matt Miazga, it was good defending. They also had a really good look from that last corner. It was Will Trapp who just bent it right around the front of the 6-yard box. John Brooks had a really good look.
He's getting a free run at it right now. Here it comes again from Trapp. Brooks again off the side of his head. McKennie looking to bring it down and save. Another alley Salter blocked by the defender in front of him. Another corner upcoming for the U.S. They're knocking on the door.
It's identical. John Brooks, watch him right in the middle of your screen, number 6, outswinging ball from Will Trapp. Excellent service on these first 2. Good height, good speed. John Brooks goes up and attacks it. He just misses this one again. Right there, deflects Weston McKennie. Nice little touch, and Casemiro coming over to close down the angle.
In-swinger this time. Trapp looking in for Miazga off the back of Marquinhos' head. Man down in there for the U.S. Trap will play on, and the referee will blow the play dead. Here's a head injury there. It's Wood who's down. And in a week in which the U.S. Soccer Federation has put a big public service emphasis on concussion safety, being smart and hopefully deliberate about this for Bobby Wood right now. And the doctor and the trainer have not come on the field. And the net effect is that the U.S., who had numbers up in a promising position, and Trapp was looking to cross it back in. It's going to be a drop ball and cleared back to midfield.
Yeah, he's actually just, oh yeah, he gets hit by Miazga. It looks like his thigh, and he was trying to shield the space.
So they'll keep a sharp eye on Wood right now. As you saw, is playing with Hanover this season on loan from Hamburg, who were relegated from the Bundesliga last season. Only 3 goals for him. Similar to a couple of years ago when he was coming off some very poor seasons, was really challenged by then coach Jurgen Klinsmann. You've got to figure out at the club level if you want to be a part of the national team going forward. And he responded with a 17-goal season for Union Berlin in the 2nd division. That one breaks down between Green and Robinson. Casemiro looking to wriggle his way out of the traffic there. McKinney riding him the whole way.
He's such a good player, Casemiro. What a miss he was as part of that game that Brazil lost against Belgium in the quarterfinals. Fernandinho played in that position, and this is a guy that is just a perennial winner. 3 straight Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. And he took that position. Rafa Benitez, once he went out the door, Zidane said, "You're my guy," in the middle of the field, and just plays that number 6 role in front of the back 4 so well. Good distribution, covers ground, tackling. Really smart player, reads the game well. Really big fan of his.
Suspended for yellow card accumulation for the quarterfinal. Casemiro on the ball now. Actually won his spot on the national team here in the U.S. 2 years ago, the Copa America Centenario. It was the tournament that cost then coach Dunga his job. Chichi took over afterwards as they crashed out in the group stage, but Casemiro was one of the big winners of that tournament going forward. Felipe Luis able to get it away for Neymar. Miazga and knock it away. Neymar, Coutinho, able to bring it down in front of Brooks. Coutinho, the back heel, Neymar joining up, cutting back. Miazga lost his foot, lot traffic in there. Firmino, Coutinho, that was blocked by Robinson. Fabinho letting it fly. Stefan was right there. Robinson, clearance only as far as Douglas Costa. He'll look to curl that and he'll miss. A long spell for the U.S. and a lot of defending to do right there, but Stefan was up to it.
That's Choco Benito. Great run from midfield from Coutinho initially. And he holds it up, and then here comes Neymar. The timing of the run, a little back heel pass. He's just trying to find an angle, loses his footing. Firmino lays it off, it comes through traffic. Robinson clears it, and then Fabinho just absolutely rips this one at the near post, and it's a good save from Zach Steffen. There it is, good positioning from Anthony Robinson. I think Steffen would have had it down to his near post, but does a good job getting up. And as this one comes, it's moving, it's hit with venom, and he just bats it away.
First save Stefan has made tonight, just the second shot on target he's faced in almost 40 minutes. Really his third start in goal for the United States. Such an impressive performance in the draw with France. Also started the game against Paraguay in March. Looks as Yedlin's in some space, and again able to bring it down well up Felipe Luis. His cross in took a deflection, but a kind one. Well, they saw it able to grab it.
That's worked a few times for the U.S. when Paul Arriola comes running inside. Felipe Luis follows him in, and that crossfield pass from John Brooks has been on the money every time.
Met by Trapp, able to keep it for Fabinho. Neymar as Firmino's making the run in behind of Miazga. Back heel was blocked. Second chance here for Firmino. Felipe Luis giving it back to him. Coutinho making the run in. Neymar not really there for it. Coming up at our halftime, sponsored by AT&T. A look back at the highlights, the Brazil goal. Good spells for the U.S. Alexi Lawless will give us his thoughts on what we've seen. It's on our AT&T halftime report about 5 minutes and change from now. Alexi Lawless, who was on the field the night the U.S. beat Brazil in February of 1998. The goal from Preki, 10 saves from Casey Keller. And it was fun sort of asking Alexi about that yesterday and his recollections of it was a night very much part of the American soccer lore. There was even a song made named Casey Keller about that night in that game.
Yeah, he said Casey stood on his head, Preki pulled out a worldie, and somehow we won that game.
Hooked into space here for Fred. Adams trying to recover. Fred dancing his way around. It's behind Casemiro. Was Costa. Casemiro. Coutinho calling for it in the middle, instead it goes back out wide. Firmino for Fabinho, weaving his way through. Is there contact there? What's the decision? It's going to be a penalty for Brazil.
Well, a couple of things here. When Fabinho picks this one up on the right side and plays the 1-2, Julian Green just lets him go. Nowhere near it, and this is such a little clever touch. John Brooks gets caught. Now, couldn't see whether there was actual touch as he goes by here. Oh, no, I don't think that's a penalty.
There's no VAR. There's no video review here.
Because I think Will Trapp, as he's going, he thinks he's going to make the tackle, and he pulls out of it. Fabinho tries to throw his legs. Let's look at this one more time. As he goes by, it's a really clever cut to go the other way. Does he clip his heels? Maybe. I think that's harsh. I don't think that's a penalty.
Well, Zach Steffen has made his name saving penalties, saved 4 of them last year for the Columbus Crew, including 2 in the playoff victory, the shootout in Atlanta. Slightly different circumstance here against Neymar, who's trying to draw one closer to Pele's all-time Brazil goal-scoring record. And the fans have come to their feet here in New Jersey late in the first half. Neymar makes it 2.
As Fabinho plays the 1-2 around the corner, and then he just shapes up like he's going to go down the line. And again, I don't think that's a penalty. Either way, it was given, and Neymar with the trademark run-up, just waiting for Zach Steffen to make a move. Eventually, he goes to his right, and he just rolls it home, putting Brazil up 2-0.
On the field in the building where he scored goal number 1, he scores goal number 58. 4 back of the original Ronaldo, and 1 closer to Pelé, and the all-time Brazil goal-scoring record. We saw Will Trapp there in his leadership, trying to make sure the U.S. sees out this half well. We talked about this before. The idea of fairness in soccer is sometimes way talked about, overrated, but it's a tough one for the U.S., who did a lot right in this first half, to have that sort of a goal go against you for 2.
price you pay. It's Brazil. The team, I mean, just the way when they take it up a gear, you can see, oh, great work there by Brooks.
Whether he meant it or not, getting it away now for Anthony Robinson, who has 4 yellow shirts around him. And that's going to be a free kick for the U.S.
Well, if he doesn't give that foul, there would be a lot of unhappy U.S. players.
We've seen the U.S. create some trouble from these set pieces, more so from the corners than the Julian Green free kick from out wide. But both Miazga and Brooks have been able to rise up and get some looks.
That's been good service from both Green and Trapp.
This one a fair bit closer in the last one Green took. 1 minute of stoppage time here at the end of the first half. This ball into the traffic. Brooks was up for it. Looking to dance away from Douglas Costa and has. How about a cross in? McKennie was up. Couldn't get it on target though.
Julian Green doing a really good job when he has the ball at his feet tonight. Creates a half yard of space against Douglas Costa. This time he comes back onto his left foot. Most of his crosses have come from his favorite right. There you go, see you later. Comes down and he's putting it in dangerous spots. That's a great ball in for McKennie to go up and attack. Just catches it at the top of his jump and puts it over.
What do you think of the half overall?
I think
you're shrugging your
mostly
shoulders.
what we would have expected. I mean, look, Brazil had a couple moments of quality where they produced goals. Still don't think it was a penalty. We'll see if we can get another look at that one just to be sure. Whether Will Trapp gets the slightest bit of contact or not, I still think Fabinho played for it. But Brazil have been the better team, which we expected. The U.S. have had moments where they've had possession. I still think they can be better when they have it, especially in the final third. And other than that, defensively, they've looked okay.
We've got 9 players available, 8 of them field players. They can make 6 substitutions in the second half. Roberto Firmino just past the 10-minute mark and across from Douglas Costa. The opening goal for Brazil, Neymar making it 2 off a penalty when Fabinho adjudged to be fouled late in the half. And that gives us our scoreline at the break. And we'll get now the thoughts of U.S. coach Dave Sarachan live on the field with Alex.
Coach, down by 2 after that late penalty. What are you looking for here in the second half?
Well, we've got to do a better job with the ball and possession. When you give it up that easy against a team of quality, you're going to get punished, and we did. And I think our guys just need to regroup, have some patience, and settle down a little bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
They've only lost once in the 6 games that Dave Sarachan has been in charge of. They got a long road ahead of them potentially here. 45 minutes down, 45 to go here in New Jersey. It's Brazil 2, United States 0.
More and more people are finding themselves in a Chevy for the first time. You can too during the Chevy Labor Day sales event. Now through September 10th, use Labor Day cash to get almost $5,000